Hey, thanks for tuning in today. I really like that line. You teach what you most need to learn. And this occurred to me last week when I was hosting a session. I think I briefly spoke about it. I was on a walk and talk in Dandenong, but I didn't actually talk about the session or, what actually happened that morning. But I thought it'd be time to bring it up just as an interesting thing, right? So the session I was leading was it was for leaders, educational leaders, and helping them become better observers. So it's really about coaching, right? But using what they're observing in the environment to then prompt a coaching, curiosity invoked type approach when working with their team member, right? So they might see something going on, they can just use that as a trigger to then start a conversation. But what was interesting is I always show up like mega early to events. So we were not kicking off, I think the session started at 10 a.m. because people were traveling from around regional Victoria to get there. So I said to my contacts there, look, I'll be there at 9 to set up. But knowing me, I was there at 8:20. So as soon as I got there, I went to the room. It was like a huge space, but all the desks were like kind of, they were using the space, and I really wanted to contain more of the energy. So I ended up spending about 30 minutes moving all the furniture, setting up, testing my tech, putting up creating a 2x2 on the floor with some sticky painter's tape. And when I did that, it was about 8:50. So I messaged my client, sent her a note and said, hey, I'm here. I'm already set up. Look forward to seeing you. Well, she messaged back, oh, great. I'll see you soon. So she comes over and she's like, oh my gosh, Leanne, I'm so sorry. We actually had to switch rooms last minute. I didn't want to text you because I didn't realize you'd be here so early. That's probably something that I need to get better at, maybe just letting people know that I am early. Anyway, that's not the learning moment. But we went to the other room. But yeah, obviously I had to move everything I'd set up. I spent all that time. That 30 minutes just wasn't of value. What happened though is as I was setting up, moving all the furniture, I needed to refill my drink bottle. So I went outside, I found a water cooler. And as I discovered the water cooler, I saw that there was another room there. And there was all this tea and coffee out and name tags. And there was a sign saying staff event in progress. And I was like, oh my gosh, they've got 2 staff events on today. That's a bit of overkill. I didn't realize, because I've worked at one of these organizations before, and usually when you have 30 or 40 staff off site, really let any more people be off. So I was kind of shocked, oh, they've got these 2 big events on. But if you're probably going to understand now, you're probably putting 2 and 2 together, that was actually the room I was meant to be in. They'd set it up. They'd gone in there early. They'd add the name tags. They'd had all the tea and coffee set up. And look, I had seen it. But because I had the curse of knowledge and because I was so stuck in my own head and wasn't observing it, which is ironic because my whole topic is around observation, I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it. I assumed it was another event. But if I had been using the skills I was teaching later that day about being an observer and trying to get out of your own head and just seeing things as they are, not with the inbuilt assumptions of what you definitely assume, I would have been more curious and I would have maybe gone into that classroom or talked to people that were in there and realized, oh, this is the room I'm meant to be in. Anyway, I did end up sharing that story for the group that morning. I was like, look, I'm teaching this, but I just want to share this is what happened this morning. And I asked the group, why do you think I didn't realize this was the room I was meant to be in? And yeah, they called out all the things that we were teaching that day. So it was a really great example. I was in my head, I had assumptions. And one of the activities we did was around how do you we assume things when we see things, but how do we know they're accurate? You've got to verify, you've got to check, you've got to ask the question. And so that was quite nice. I love that I had a real life case study and story immediately to share about how even, humans have these baked in assumptions and biases. They are helpful the majority of the time. If we didn't have biases or shortcuts to make decisions, our brain would be using way too much energy. So we actually do it for preservation and to save energy. But yeah, in that moment, it could have saved me about 30 minutes. Anyway, thanks so much for listening, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.